All right. So I thank you guys. I know it's been a while since we've had a team meeting. And, originally a few weeks ago when I had the survey sent out, I was asking guys for times and everything else and to update me and all those things. And we're trying to work on finding the best time for everyone and all those things. But I'm also asking in the sense of people making it a priority to be a part of these meetings. Because I've got people who said they can make this time, now they're saying they can't. And then I've got people who, after weeks of having the survey out, still didn't feel the need to actually fill it out. And so I'm kind of setting the tone right now for the summer. These meetings are going to be anywhere from 30 minutes to an hour, depending on what we're doing each week. And the expectation is the people who want to be a part of this program will be making it a priority to make these meetings. I understand, maybe in a week something may come up or something big like that. That's fine. And that's the part of why we record these and everything else. But we're more talking about the people who blatantly just miss these, who don't feel like they need to be a part of them, whether we've got a ton of things to go over or if it's just a simple checkup. I've spent a lot of time the last 2 months as we've kind of been away from everything, reevaluating things from this year, reevaluating things from my 7 years as head coach here, which is crazy to think that I'm going into my 8th year as head coach now. And I've looked at our good years, I've looked at our bad years, I've looked at every little thing that we have done as a program. By far and away, the best seasons we've had are when the summer's going into those seasons, everyone is staying on the same track. Everyone is communicating with each other, everyone is staying in touch with each other, everyone is on the same level of preparing for the next season. Now, this past year obviously was completely different, but it was obvious the work we did while we were at home, while we were able to meet together and do all these kind of things, was one of the biggest difference makers compared to a lot of the other programs in our conference, where coaches did not think it was important for people to be meeting every week, to stay in touch, to make sure we're staying on track and all those kind of things. They took very much the approach of, well, we'll see what happens, see you guys in a few weeks. Now that we have gotten through this year and we are seeing how real this next year will be in the sense of a full season, this is no chance for us to step back and say, well, we got through the year, it's a really hard year, we're taking our break, we're calling it easy and all these kind of things. We're basically at 2 months, actually a little more, since our conference championship. And so now it's the time to start looking towards next year. It's starting to focus on what we need to achieve, what we need to accomplish. And so I can tell you this much, the way these meetings are going to go and the way that we kind of have already mapped out, we've mapped out every meeting from tonight until I think the Tuesday before school starts. These first 3 meetings in June are all going to be informational. What everything's going to be looking like for next year, what are things that we need to start preparing for, what are some things we need to do internally as a program, then also what's going on externally with the university. What kind of COVID protocols are going to be going on, all that kind of stuff. Once we get into July, the focus of the meetings are very much going to shift to purely internally with the program. What do we need to change as a team to get better? What do we need to focus on with the women's team? What do we need to focus on with the men's team? What do we need to focus on as a whole program? There's reasons why I ask, all the coaches to be on here. There's reasons why I ask, Eric to be on here. There's reasons why I ask Ethan, who's committed, voluntarily to be a part of this program and help us out in any way we need to. There's reasons why I've already scheduled Sarah to help me with some workshops for the summer. We're on an amazing path with this program, and this is no time to take a step back and relax. And I'm not talking about not taking your breaks and everything else, but in the sense of, we have built the foundation for this program, and now it's to continue to rise up with what we want to do. We don't want this year just to be a one and done. We don't want the trophies and everything to be a one and done. And we don't want to stray from what we have focused on, with this program and, being dedicated to this family that we're a part of with this team. And so I'm just kind of throwing that out there for everyone so they understand, there's a reason why we're looking to do these one-on-one meetings with everyone every 2 weeks and every 2 to 3 weeks and checking in, see what's going on, making sure people are staying track with practices and all those kind of things. Why we're sharing our workouts every single day. So if people aren't able to do it with someone else, that they're able to find a way to do it on their own and, reach out to us if they need help with these kind of things. Making ourselves available when a lot of other teams don't, because if all we do is focus on the school year and doing what we need to do then to get better, we're not going to get ahead. We're not going to make the changes we are. We're not going to get the time drops we want or the higher scores we want or the new dives or anything like that, because every other program can do it through the school year. The difference is going to be which program is going to go outside that normal time to make the necessary changes to get ahead, to get that extra work in, to get that extra help in, to break those bad habits maybe they have during the school year to improve during the summer. And so that's what we're looking at this summer. And for those of you who maybe have taken it easy until this point, this is the wake-up call now. Because you've got about 2 months until we're back at school. And there's not going to be a period of, okay, we're going to have all fall to get back into shape, to train again, to do all these kind of things. When we start our season, we're going to have about 6 weeks until we compete against Northwestern and Illinois. So we've got 2 Big Ten teams right off the bat that we'll be competing against in the middle of October. And we're going to be going meet after meet from that point on through the fall. So as much as some people might think this is a threat or things like that, I'm not looking at it as it that way. I'm looking at it more as like, hey guys, look, we have done some incredible things in some of the worst conditions. Why stop now? Again, like I've always said, let's make the most of it and let's continue to keep going, because what I'm excited about is we've got 2 conference teams that were in the top 3 this year, and we're losing just a handful of points on each team. So think about that as we kind of move forward with everything and as we kind of look at it with what we've got going on. But tonight, a lot of it will be just kind of some checkup with things and everything else. The department in the university right now is very much in the planning process in the sense of COVID and how everything's going to look next year. We're already starting to hear things in the sense of like testing will go down and everything else. And a lot of it's going to be very dependent on who's vaccinated, who's not vaccinated, if teams are fully vaccinated or if they have people who aren't, and all those kind of things. And so again, this is the, 87th reminder of, if you have been vaccinated and you have not let Brian know, please send Brian a message letting him know you have been vaccinated. And my hope is that our whole program will be vaccinated by the time the season starts. And we've already had conversations with our incoming freshmen about this as well, because it's just going to make things a lot easier. We're going to be able to have the team outings we want. We're going to be able to have the practices that we want. We're going to be able to do things at a normal level. The protocols that are being put in place for people who are not vaccinated are going to look very much like last year. So, for example, if we're in the weight room and someone from another team tests positive and they were in the weight room, if we have people who weren't vaccinated on the team, they're going to have to go into quarantine for 2 weeks. If you're vaccinated, you're fine. When you come back to campus for the start of the school year, people who aren't vaccinated will have to quarantine before they're allowed to be a part of anything. And so it's just some things like that that they're starting to talk about. And as long as we can kind of keep that in line, it's going to help things out. Now, I'm sure there's some people out there who, and I know there are people out there who are unsure about it if they haven't gotten it yet, or, maybe have their reasons and everything else. In no way does this mean I want you to hide from it or to think that like we're trying to call people out and all that. But we want to understand, where everyone is at with these kind of things. And so in the next 2 weeks, Brian, as he kind of compiles this all together, will start to let me know, hey, this is who I've heard from and who I haven't. And so we'll be reaching out just to make sure, like, hey, what's going on? Is everything okay? But also to understand, hey, we don't do this. This is kind of the path that you as an individual are going to have to follow with all the different protocols and everything else. So that's kind of the big thing from the department right now in the sense of what we're looking at and all those kind of things. We'll be sending an email out, or actually Susan will be sending an email out with our annual kind of team directory that we have with everyone on the roster, with all your information from your contact information to your campus address, your home address, your sizes for things, all that kind of stuff. She'll send that out as a link for you to do. We saved everyone's information from last year, so it'll be on there. Most of you, all you'll have to do is update your campus address and then any other different information. If you got a new cell phone number, or if your parents moved, or if they got new numbers, but also look at the sizes. If you didn't like the sizes you have this year, change them. Suit sizes, all those kind of things. Susan, correct me if I'm wrong, but there might be some new apparel things within the department that they might have to add sizes on for, that they need to double check. And we ask that once you guys do that, that you highlight your name in yellow so we know that you did it. And that'll just kind of help us see who's done it and everything else in the last, in this, or who have done it this year around and who still needs to do it and things like that. We're going to give everyone until July 1st to do this. And once July 1st hits, you won't be able to change it or do anything else. And we'll just think up sizes for you if you haven't done it or anything like that. But make sure you get those things in. So we can kind of stay on top of all that stuff with the directory and all those kind of things. I will also be sending out an email with one-on-one signups. This will be for the people who are at home, who aren't training with us this summer. We will have the one-on-one sign-up sheets there, so you can sign up just for a quick meeting. And again, this will be one, just kind of check in how your practice schedule's been going, how the training's been going. What are you struggling with? What do we need to change? What do we need to kind of look at? Do you have any meets coming up? All those kind of things. So that link will be out tomorrow. Take a look for that. Sign up as early as you can so we can wrap those up. And then once I finish all those up, we'll roll over to the people who are staying here this summer and training with us. So we can meet about, just how the summer's going and some different plans. I know some of you have been talking about swim meets and everything. And so just some different things that we'll kind of look at to make sure that we're straight away with all that stuff there for that. So those are kind of the big things that'll be sent out to you guys right now with everything. One of the other things I wanted to talk about today is captains for this coming year. Every year, we vote on captains for this program. It's something that as a staff, we don't take lightly because these captains not only lead the team, but do a lot of things for us that we need as coaches help with, because there's only 3 of us and a lot of you. So we take this seriously. It's a big role to do, not just as kind of an honor to be a captain and voted on by your team, but in the sense of a lot of responsibility that comes with it. And so the way it's going to work is I'm going to be sending out kind of just the requirements for captain, and I can show it to you guys here. With the captains voting, in the sense of, what are some of the objectives as captains? What are some of the requirements in the sense of being in good academic standings, willing to commit significant time, committed to training in and out of season, ability to be proactive in team needs, and then capable of leading, correcting teammates in a positive way. But then some other things that are in there. And so it's going to be very much kind of the same setup that we did last year to keep us all involved. And so what I'm going to ask is the people who are interested in being captains for this coming season to reach out to me by this Friday, so I know that you're interested. And then next week's meeting, we'll have the opportunity for each captain candidate to give a small speech on, why they want to be nominated as captain and everything. And then everyone on the program will be able to vote on it. And it'll be the same voting setup as last year, where you will vote for each gender. And so when you're voting for your same gender captains, that'll count as a full vote to them. And then when you're voting for the opposite gender captains, that will count as a half vote for those captains. And the reason why we do this is when you are nominated as a captain for this team, it's for the entire program, not just for the women's team or just for the men's team or just for the divers, but for this entire program. Because as the captains who are part of it this year, they can attest to it. In some of the decision making we had them a part of involved the entire program and not just their specific area. And so it's important for us that we have people who are committed to that whole program side of it. So I want this to be something that, I don't want to get texts from people right away saying like, yep, absolutely, I want to be a part of this. I want you to really, read through this small section and think about it and understand, okay, hey, this is a full season. Are you able to commit to this with your course load, with your workload and all these things, and making sure that you're able to truly make this program a priority with what you want out of this year. And that's where we see it being most effective. And for those people who decide not to do it, I want you to be open to the possibility of anyone who decides to step up and want to do this, because it is a big thing. But also then do the speeches next week and everything and truly listen to what they have to say. Push friendships or anything else aside and just truly listen to them and think of, hey, does this person have the right mindset for this? Does this person's heart really kind of, lean on this team in the sense of they want this team to be better after this season? And so take your time with it. And again, let me know by this Friday, the 18th. So then I can kind of come up with the outline of when you'll be speaking, and I'll let those people know ahead of time, the order of it and everything. And then next week's meeting will be very much of I'll start out with a brief kind of 2-minute update on some things if I have anything, and then we'll go right into the speeches from there. And then I'll send out the survey after the meeting for people to vote on it. And you'll have 24 hours from that point to vote on captains. And then we'll announce them later that week. So again, take your time if this is something you're interested in. If you've got questions about it, reach out to one of the coaches. We would be happy to talk to you about it. I'd also recommend talking to, some of our, past captains and things like that, how it was for them. Obviously, I think very highly of the captains that we had this past year, just because they dealt with the COVID year and they dealt with a lot of things that, we've never had to as a staff. And so we leaned on them a lot with some of the decisions that we made and everything, which was really ideal for us. So we've got that to kind of really look at with what we've got going on. Any questions about anything so far, whether it's the captain stuff or anything else that we've talked about at all? All right, cool. So like I said, guys, these meetings in the beginning are gonna be very informative. We're almost wrapping up this meeting. I've got one more thing I just kind of want to go over. Next week will be the captain's meeting stuff, and then the week after that, which will be the 29th, we will start bringing in our incoming freshmen to those meetings. So they'll start on the 29th. We'll kind of use that meeting as kind of an introductory thing with them, break you guys off into groups, just talk about a lot of different things so you guys can get to know them. They are finishing up their orientation and all those things, and I will send out this week their contacts if you don't have them all yet on there that so you guys can reach out to them. Orientation this summer is still online, so they're not going to be around campus as much, but they're our teammates now and they're going to be a part of this program. So just as you guys were high schoolers wondering what you were getting yourselves into, they're kind of in the same boat. And you've got to realize that this is a class that's very unique than any other class because they didn't get to visit campus at all. A lot of them didn't get to meet any of you in person or do any of those kind of things. So for them, it's a lot more in the sense of, what does this all entail? What is this all about? So the more we can kind of get to know them early and talk with them, the more it's going to help with that. So that's kind of where we're at these next 2 weeks. The last thing I've got, and this is something that has just happened in the last few days, and I wanted to share it with you guys because it's something that I was open about in the fall. It was something that I was very touched on when you guys came beside me with the cards and everything else that you have done. But as of yesterday, my cousin Sarah is cancer-free. Her scans came back all cleared. 9 months straight of chemo and radiation, still was able to graduate on time and everything. And so I was able to see her yesterday. I'm actually taking her to a White Sox game tomorrow to kind of celebrate and everything. And so I just want to thank you guys for that. She wanted to make sure that you guys knew about it, as I've got other photos of her. I was trying to look for them and couldn't find them, but of her getting her chemo done, of her doing her different exercises she had to do to keep her oxygen levels up and everything, wearing the UIC gear that we gave her and all those things. So it's kind of a reminder of what this last year was shitty. It was tough. We went through a lot of ups and downs and everything else. And I think what it reminds me is to not stop and just say, hey, I'm glad that's done and I just want to stop now. It's more of an encouragement of, if we can be successful with everything that was thrown at us in this last year, I can't even imagine what we can do as a program when all this is past us. So if you're at home right now, or if you're here or anywhere else, and you're struggling to find that motivation to get going again, Sarah's the perfect reminder of, it doesn't matter how tough it can be. We can always find a way to get out of it. We can always find a way to fight through. We can always find a way to be tough and move forward with it. And so for those of us who are exhausted from this year and who, feel still depleted and all that, just remind ourselves where we were a year ago to where we are now, and let's just keep running forward with it. So guys, I'm really excited because talking to a lot of other people, they're seeing what our program is doing. I just actually recorded a podcast today with a guy who does recruiting across the country, and he can see the excitement with me and what we're going to be able to do as a team. So let's work on it. For those of you who need to get back in action, let's get those butts in gear and let's get moving with it. Push each other, reach out to each other. Tomorrow, the group that's here, they know that they've got the test set for kick. For those of you who are training on your own, join in on it. You can add your times. You can stay with us. I know Andy and Beth have done it before. You know, let's stay together this summer. Let's stay with what we say as being a dedicated family to each other and have pride about what we're doing here. And let's get ready to have a really good season this next year, right? So that's it for tonight, guys. Like I said, I just wanted to kind of set the tone for the summer, let you guys know, hey, this is what we're moving forward with. And if you got any questions, reach out to us. And I'll see you guys next week, all right? All right, Flames, take care. We'll see ya.